Hello, Covington County. Welcome to Good News Covington County with Brother John and Cousin Jared. Coming to you on WKNI. We like to think of ourselves as the world's smallest television station, going to the greatest market in the United States. We're glad to have you with us today. It's Monday, April the 23rd, start of another great week here in Covington County. Hope you're watching us wherever you are in Covington County or on YouTube. We want to tell you thanks and wish you a great week coming up. Got big news, had a busy weekend in Covington County. Want to talk to you about a little bit of that. One thing that happened is that we thought we were going to have a lot of severe weather. Fortunately, it seems like most of that severe weather left us. All the heavy rain that we thought we were going to get missed us by and large. We did get some rain. And our friend the pollen is still here. If you see me scratch my nose from time to time today, it's because I've got pollination in my nose and the bees got pollinations on the legs. Anyway, welcome to Good News Covington County. And I'd like to start off this segment of the show talking about the LBW Foundation's concert they had this weekend with Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder. Folks, I went to it. I want to thank Dr. Dell, Christy White, and all the people at LBW, that Dr. Demure, all the other people there that were so nice to us. They allowed us to go to the meet and greet, and we were so happy and lucky to meet Ricky Skaggs and shake his hand. But I want you to understand, folks, Mr. Skaggs, and this is not his fault, this is not a negative, Mr. Skaggs' contract with LBW had a media exclusion, so we weren't able to tape any of the concert and bring it to you that Mr. Skaggs did. And we weren't able to do any taping of the meet and greet that we had with Mr. Skaggs. But I can tell you this, he was as nice as everybody thought that he would be. The reason that a lot of the talent like that controls their media is because sometimes the media will take a statement that's made in one of those interviews and twist it and use it against it. And these people are very, very conscious of their images. And I can understand that. But I want you to know that we went and Mr. Skaggs was very, very, very nice to us. The whole entourage there was very nice to us. I just can't say enough about how good they were, and the people from the chamber were there. Chrissy was just as nice and bright and jubilant and positive as she could be, and she took a picture of Jared and I with the great men, and we went on. But let me tell you the great surprise that we got out of this. We found out that we could tape the opening act, and boy, what an opening act they were. It was a group out of the Panhandle of Florida. They were from Niceville, Fort Walton, Panama City, up around Mariana, all over the place. And their name was Copper Line Bluegrass out of Panama City, Florida. And they're a big part of the Gulf Coast Bluegrass Association. Now, I tell you that because I want you to, when you get a break, if you've got the internet, I want you to go to YouTube and find Copperline Bluegrass's YouTube page. They've got some music there. Listen to them and like that page. These are local guys that have a tremendous amount of talent and a very, very good sound. We'll have interviews with them that we'll broadcast later. We have part of the concert with them that they will allow us to broadcast. And I think that if we can get our sound issues worked out, and Jared's been working like the devil on that, then you'll enjoy that and be impressed by the opening band. Now, I want to say a couple other things about this. There were a couple of thousand people that attended that concert, and that was a fundraiser for our community college, LBW, out here. And I'm so thankful for that community college, and I'm so thankful for the people that treated us so nicely. That college brings an awful lot of good things to our community. And so when they have a fundraiser like they did this time, we need to really, really get out and support it. And folks, as I said, there were a couple of thousand people that were there to support it. Wish there had been more. I think that Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder would have sounded even better if it had been a packed house instead of a good house. And I know that LBW would have benefited even more. We're sure going to try to cooperate with them in the future to make sure that every event that they do on campus or off that involves the community is publicized, because they do an awful lot of things in our community for free that benefit our community hugely. There are other things like this event that they charge for, but let's face it, you want to get the kind of talent that Ricky Skaggs represents, world-class country music Hall of Fame talent. That's going to cost us a few bucks to bring in here, but boy, was it ever worth it. Great concert, wonderful sound, just a totally good experience. And as I said, we also got to spend a great deal of time with a group from the Panhandle called Copperline Bluegrass. They'll be down in Laurel Hill, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that, for the Bluegrass Festival in Laurel Hill. They were at Goshen last weekend. They've got a great following and they're great musicians. Go to one of those things and just hang around. You'll hear some of the best music you've ever heard in your life. Covington County, welcome back to Good News Covington County on April the 23rd, here with Brother John and Cousin Jared. Andalusia was a hopping place this weekend. If you come up to me and say, John, there ain't nothing to do in this town, I'm going to have to call you a storyteller. There's always something going on in this town. In addition to the great concert by Ricky Skaggs, Kentucky Thunder, and Copperline Bluegrass, we had a lot of other things going on here. One of them was the 47th Storybook Festival. 47 Storybook Festivals here. Now, if you don't know what the Storybook Festival is, it's a great time for kids. And it's something that the Coterie Club puts together every year for the children, as the children enjoy it, and it's a fundraiser for many of their charities. This year it was held on April 21st, a Saturday, at the Springdale Estate here in Andalusia. They had perfect weather for it. It was wonderful. From all reports that I can get, and from what I've seen, it was just a stellar event. There were over 200 children there, and that's what it was really for. There were 6 groups that were performing at the Storybook Festival. There were groups from Pleasant Home High School, Andalusia High School, the Frequency Drama Team, the Aftershock Youth from Aftershock Youth of Andalusia Full Gospel Tabernacle, and then Carol Lee Wilson from the Andalusia Public Library, and then a couple of performances by the Coterie Club members themselves. Now, these folks worked mighty hard. Preparatory to this, they built backgrounds for stages, scenery, those kind of things, and they did a marvelous job for that. You know, whenever we see something on TV or we go to an appearance like that, we realize that that's a nice appearance, but do we ever really thank all the people that have been working behind the scenes for doing that kind of work? I tell you, there's some great work that goes on there at those kind of things. The storybook director said the entire, she wanted to give everybody credit for it, and I thought that was wonderful. They had great performances. They had a bouncy house. They had a slide for the kids, and they had vendors that you could buy tickets from to get food. And of course, they had some other businesses here in town that supported them hugely. The Coterie Club also hosts a Coterie Run for Kids in the fall, and its proceeds go to projects for children in the area as well. What a great thing the Coterie Club does for us. Also, and I want to point this out, and I may run a little long into the next segment on this, but April is Autism Awareness Month. And folks, autism is something that can affect any family. in our community. And oftentimes it's one of those things that people don't even realize that what they're dealing with. They just think that there's a problem there and they can't identify it. I've worked with some autistic children in my life, and every one of them that I've ever worked with has exceeded my expectations in terms of what they could do if they're properly, if they're properly, I don't want to use the word handled, but if they're facilitated to do things properly, they will amaze you with their caring, their high intelligence, their ability to do things that many people underestimate with them. One of the things that I found with them is that they love structure. They don't like to be brought out of their box and faced in atmospheres or environments that they're uncomfortable with. I don't like that either. They're sweet kids, but they just have a behavioral difference that we have to get used to. The Andalusia City Schools works well with this. Sonia Hines is the Andalusia City Schools district administrator that works with special ed, those kind of things. But I want you to understand that special ed it means a lot of different things. It covers an awful broad spectrum, and it should be considered as a special part of our school systems, where we deal with children that are different but not damaged, and it's a tough job. They have to work hard to work with these children. But as I say, I've worked with children that are autistic, and they are a wonderful group of people to work with. We'll be back in a minute, but one of the things that I want people to understand that work around autistic children is that how tough other children can be on these autistic children, because they don't understand what's going on. It's not like Ricky over here with a broken arm, or Helen over here that has a patch over her eye. Those are things that the kids can understand as something that makes them different. And sometimes kids are pretty cruel about that. But with these children, if you've got a child that's or a grandchild that's in the educational system, talk to them about autism, learn about autism. We'll discuss a little bit more about it in a minute, but help your children help these autistic children that they know. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to Good News Covington County. When I left you a minute ago, we were discussing that April is Autism Awareness Month here in Covington County, and we were discussing what some of the things were that they were doing here in the county. And we've got the city school system here does a good job of trying to identify young people with autism and to help them out. A lot of times, the parents have a hard time identifying autism because there are so many different types of autistic learning abilities and it's hard to identify. But what they know about autism is that a lot of the time the children have hard times communicating with you or with other people, and that's one of the first indicators. Now, there are a lot of variants of the young persons, and now there are older people in the community that have autism as well. There are a lot of variants in how they do, but as they grow older. But one thing that they have determined is that the younger that you can determine someone has autism, the sooner that you begin to give them structure in their lives, the more things that they can accomplish to help mainstream themselves. I've worked around some kids that are autistic that were absolutely wonderful, brilliant, great at photography, great at entertaining, love music, and in their realm, they're great. One of the things, this is not a medical explanation, so I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on television. I can barely play an announcer. But one of the things that you have to understand is that they have a hard time communicating with us sometimes. And the reason for that sometimes is that they're thinking way faster than we are. And they can't get the words out fast enough. Now that's an oversimplification of what's going on. But don't ever think that an autistic child is a special child because there are inadequacies there. Many of these children are brilliant. And they're working with Dr. Whitney Mead with the University of Alabama in Huntsville to develop philosophies for families to use in this area. They know that a lot of times autistic children are identified by doctors who report them to the school system because in the state of Alabama, and in not just Alabama, a lot of other states, that's about the best mechanism to help with those young people. If you can find an autistic child and identify it at age 3, it's much more beneficial to help that child start tracking through life and getting structure than it is at age 7. So the sooner, the better. Don't be afraid of it. It's just something that's different. And these children in this community here in Andalusia, and these teachers and educators need all the support that we can give them to help with autism in our area. And it's a big issue nationwide. Again, take the time to take your children and your grandchildren and explain to them what autism is. Learn for yourself and ask them to work with these children. Befriend them, help them become better children. And I promise you, children will become better children as a result. Moving right on from autism to something else that involves our community, and that's the Covington County Don't Drop It on Alabama campaign that started last Friday. If you go to the Star News, you'll see a bunch of pictures taken by Christopher Smith, and there's an article in the Saturday Star News about Don't Drop It on Alabama. I noticed that they cleaned up the square over the weekend. This place, I'm not going to say you could eat off of the square, but there's an awful lot of things that have been cleaned up out here that make it. The leaves are gone, most of the paper's gone. They've started planting plants out here again for the springtime, and the square's turning out to be the beautiful place that it has been for so many years here. There were teams that have worked on this from Power South, CCB Community Bank, Carter, Darnell and Grubbs, or CDG Engineers, Covington County 4-H, Charles Dixon and Company, in the main were the groups that have gone out and attacked these areas. This work continues through the week, and I'm going to give you the schedule for the rest of the week. On today, April 23rd, the Miracle Mile makers. All groups will work on a mile of a road of their choosing. On Tuesday, truck route takedown. The groups will work on truck routes in this area to clean them up. And on Wednesday, April 25th, what does my property look like? They want people to go out and look at their own property and see what they can do to clean it up, and they'll try to work with you if you let them know. Thursday is through towns. Teams are going to make an effort to go through town. Up in Andalusia, this is a community-wide effort, county-wide. Go through the towns and help clean up and do pickups in places like that. Friday is our Friends Friday, and that's when if you know you've got a friend that maybe they're elderly and they can't get out and work in their yard a little something like that, go by them and help them out, clean it up. Won't hurt to mow their front yard for them. They'll love you forever. And then Saturday is Grand Slam Saturday, and that's when they all plan on cleaning up parks, churches, schools, and colleges in this area, all with the aim to keep Andalusia and Covington County the cleanest place in the state. We'll be back in just a minute after these announcements. Hey, welcome back to Good News Covington County with Brother John and Cousin Jared. Back on the spot with y'all. great things happening. Now we're going to talk about the future. We talked about the past in the earlier part of the broadcast. Now we're going to talk about the future. One thing I want to talk about in the future is tomorrow morning at 7:30 at the Andalusia Chamber of Commerce. They're having their Chamber of Commerce breakfast. Go there. Massey, Walt Massey Automotive is sponsoring the event. It's a great thing to go to. If you want to participate in making Andalusia a greater community, join the Chamber of Commerce. Go and involve yourself in these things. They're only interested in doing something good for Andalusia, and the money that they raise and spend is always well spent. My goodness, the Chamber of Commerce has got these summer at July Jam events coming up this summer, and then in the winter they have they're so busy sponsoring the Christmas parade, and we have the #1 event in the South for Christmas on the square here in Andalusia, according to Southern Living, and that's all the Chamber of Commerce. That's Chrissy, and she does a wonderful job down there. I can't say enough for what Chrissy's done for the Chamber of Commerce, and she's got an assistant down there that is just dynamite. We can't say enough of what they do for both of us down there. But join the Chamber of Commerce and show up for the breakfast tomorrow morning. Be in the know about Andalusia. Now, I'm not going to be able to make that tomorrow, and you may see I won't be on the air for the next couple of days because I've got to go and get a little bit of a tune-up. But I should be back here on Wednesday afternoon to Thursday morning, and we're just going to try to leave you with so much news in the meantime that we want you to ponder it. We want you to go out and buy the Andalusia Star-News, the op paper, and keep yourself informed until I can get back and tell you more about it. Now, speaking of things that are happening, we've gotten ourselves a position on the internet where you can contact us, and if you've got an event coming up that you want to talk to us about, or you want to send information to about it, send it to info@WKNI.tv, info@WKNI.tv. And if you've got an event that you want to announce, or if you'd like to be on the show to talk about something, contact us at that address, and Jared and I'll get back to you. We'll talk with you. We'll send you an email back or something like that. But we're interested in letting people know what you've got going on in the community. I guess the other thing I want to do is kind of give a plug to our friends at Copperline Bluegrass out of the Florida Panhandle. Again, they'll be in Laurel Hill, not this weekend, but next weekend at a Bluegrass Festival down there. Go down there, see them, tell them we sent you to them, and go like them on their Facebook page and on their YouTube page. Go listen to them. Copperline Bluegrass. I've been and I've looked at the page, and I've already liked them. I liked them before I went to their page. They're that good. Big news coming up next weekend, the 27th to 28th, down south of town at the ASCS offices. The Master Gardeners from here in Covington County in Andalusia are putting on a plant sale. And they're going to be, the Master Gardeners are going to have what they call a number of their own collections. They're going to be selling Christmas cactus, night blooming cereus, and all kind of bulbs, in addition to a variety of pass-along plants that we can put into our local yards and landscaping to keep this South Alabama local experience going. There will also be commercially grown plants available from southern growers. And then the plants will be arranged, and I like this, they're going to arrange the plants in order of the way they need sunlight to grow. Some plants don't do as well in sunlight as others do. And they're going to arrange that so that you can know where best to plant the plants that you buy. And these Master Gardeners are expert gardeners. If you've got a question about the plant that you're looking at, they can give you the answer. They can help you an awful lot. and that part is free. Now the plant sale will take place on the lawns of the Covington County location of the Andalusia Cooperative Extension Service. That's on Highway 55 South here in Andalusia. If you know where the Kiwanis building is, or where the baseball fields, or the Harry Henson building, or if you went to the concert this weekend, it's kind of across from there. You'll be able to recognize it by the beautiful flowers. The sale will take place rain or shine, and cash and checks are accepted. But what a wonderful opportunity for, I promise you, a very reasonable fee to improve the landscaping around your house and the landscaping in our community. These people, by the way, do an awful lot to help us keep Andalusia beautiful, and we're thankful for that. We'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back to Good News Covington County with Brother John and Cousin Jared. Got a couple more items of news, and then we'll be getting out of here for a little while. One of the things, this event that's coming up again, I tell you, if you live in Covington County and you say you don't have something to do, you're not paying attention. We've got an event coming up the 28th down at Strawn School. There's an article in the Andalusia Star News by Lacey Stinson that talks about it, but it's a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. There's April 28th, and the 3-on-3 basketball tournament is going to be to benefit Meredith's Miracles. Jeff Daniel, he's a deputy with the Covington County Sheriff's Office, says he got the idea from 3-on-3 basketball tournament from watching other tournaments like that. You know, there's even a 3-on-3 half-court basketball league now, professional basketball league on television, and that's quite entertaining. Short season, a lot of action. First team to 50 points wins. What they're doing here is trying to raise money for a charity just to benefit them, and Meredith's Miracles is a good one. Another part of it, and this is the fun part for me, is that these teams are made up by police officers and sheriff's deputies from different communities. Now, I kind of like law enforcement. They've always been nice to me, and I've tried not to give them any trouble. But, you know, there's a sick side of me that would like to see those guys running into each other and bouncing off of each other and grabbing rebounds, maybe going globetrotter on one another and bouncing the ball off the head or something like that. So if you got that little sick side of you, it'd be a good time to go see that at Strawn High School on the 28th. Again, Jeff Daniel is the deputy here that's coordinating that, and he wants to have 10 teams participate. It's my understanding he's already got 8 teams. I think there's a group coming down from Crenshaw County, and the Sheriff's Department's got a team, and I think Andalusia Police Department's got a team, and Ops. They're all paid $60 per team to enter this thing, and then the proceeds from the ticket sales and other things that are going on there will go to Meredith's Miracles. They've got gift certificates from Fletcher's, Golden Rule Barbecue, the Farmers Co-op, and Tractor Supply for the teams that win first and second place. There's also a plaque being made for the basketball team that wins overall. Jeff Daniels hopes to make this an event that happens every year. It's a great way to do some good things. Jeff in particular was talking about how he wanted to do this for Meredith's Miracles because of the good work that they had done for Rick Cartwright's family. Of course, Rick had this wonderful son, Gordy, that fought a valiant fight with cancer and lost. And I can tell you, Rick Cartwright's one of the finest, most deserving human beings I've ever met in my life. And he loved Gordy so much, and he still does. Rick will be down there trying to help out. They'll be selling hamburgers and hot dogs for $5 during the game. There'll be a bake sale, and as well there'll be a fire truck from the Andalusia Fire Department for the kids to look at. It'll be a hook and ladder fee. If you want more information on this, call Jeff Daniel at 334-343-0275. great article in the paper that, again, from our good friend Sue Wilson, who does a super job with the Covington County Historical Society, and writes a weekly column in the Andalusia Star News called Remember When. Now, Sue wrote an article this time about the Three Knights Trail. That's a trail that went through this area. There's a lot of questions about where it went through, but this area obviously has some connection with it because many people say that there were the three notches. Now, as one fellow said, they weren't notches, they were more like slashes in a tree. And as a child, I can remember people saying that they could remember a tree over here on these three notches that had the slashes in it. And they tried to preserve that tree forever, and it died when I was in grammar school. And then down on South Cotton Street, not South Cotton Street, South Three Knot Street, around the old Studstill home, there was a tree that was allegedly had the slashes in it too, and I believe some of the Studstills could say they can still remember that. But it's a part of American history that's very interesting. As Andrew Jackson came through this area on his way to Pensacola during the Indian Wars. I'm not going to get into Mr. Jackson's politics, but it's a historical part of our heritage. Overall, the Andalusia sports teams did extremely well. Covington County did, in fact, extremely well with their sports teams this weekend. Andalusia, men's and women's won, Op women's won, Pleasant Home split with their softball. So it's been a great weekend for that. Our buzzard count this morning was 17, and now for the weather. Today it's going to be partly sunny with a high near 78. Light west wind becoming north-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour in the morning. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 56. West wind around 5 miles an hour. Becoming very calm in the evening. Tomorrow, a 20% chance of rain after 1 o'clock. Partly sunny with a high near 77. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, a low around 55. And northwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Folks, we've enjoyed being with you today. Take your time, have a great day today, and we'll see you in a couple of days. Thanks for watching.